Here you go. Hello, everyone. We are Two Gals in a Book podcast. I'm Araceli.
I'm Lily.
And today we are reading Marie Benedict's Daughter of Egypt. Look at this, guys.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, yeah. So shout out to Marie Benedict.
Yes, thank you.
And thank you for your autograph on our books that we bought. And this was an amazing book. As you guys know, like I love historical fiction. And I got to learn about two women in history that I did not know about. The first of them is Hatshepsut, the only pharaoh of Egypt. And we're going to learn a little bit about her story as we read. And the
first woman pharaoh,
yes, yes. What did I say? I don't know.
The only pharaoh.
Yes, that's what I meant, Lily. My brain was thinking that.
The first woman pharaoh in ancient Egypt, right?
That's why it takes two of us to do this.
It can't be one gal.
Yes. And the other woman that we learned about was Evelyn Carter. Is that her last name?
Herbert. Lady Evelyn Herbert.
Why did I say Carter? Oh, I know why. Anyway, I'll fix that later.
Yeah. So yes, it does thousands of years apart.
Yes.
The latest one, Lady Evelyn Herbert, is living in London in the 1920s. And she is, in the book, obsessed. I would say obsessed,
yes.
right?
Yes.
With learning more and discovering more about Hatshepsut. Hatshepsut?
Yes. And she is, yes, I'm very sure.
I thought I heard something else. I could be wrong.
And she is, a woman that is very different for her times because she is very interested in archaeology, and that is not something that women do in the 1920s.
It's a male-dominant role.
Like most of them, including being a pharaoh.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're a little bit disorganized.
Sorry.
So let's go back to the beginning.
But let's tell them where we're at. We're at the California Science Center, because they have a mummy exhibit. So we are waiting for them to open so we can go and explore ourselves these exhibits.
Because remember, books take you on adventures. And so this book brought us on this adventure.
Yes.
Check out the mummy exhibit.
Yes.
And we're probably going to take the camera with us and show you a couple of highlights of the things that we see. And who knows, maybe we'll see a little bit of Hatshepsut in there. We have yet to. We're going to do our little archaeology.
Our own archaeology.
Exploration
yes.
In the museum. So hopefully they will let us in. Because we tried to get into the gardens and that did not work out.
That's why we're outside.
Yeah. You can see them behind us. Okay, so let's get started.
A quick summary?
Yes, let's do that.
A quick summary. So the point of view or the writing style is two narratives. It's Hatshepsut's in the 1420-30s BC.
Well, yes.
Right, it's there. And then Lady Evelyn Herbert in the 1920s. So thousands of years apart. And it does go back and forth. So it's easy to follow along. It's a historical fiction, like you said, but there's a lot of research that went into this. Yes. So I really appreciate, I mean, you heard her, right? Yes. And she went to Egypt. So thank you. We can't, so we're here. We're here at the California, the closest thing.
Yes, we got as close as we could to it.
Yeah, so the story is about Lady Evelyn Herbert, whose father funds the...
Her father is an archaeologist.
He is.
He's more of a, he's the one that funds the excavations.
Yes, in Egypt.
He works closely with Mr. Howard Carter. You could Google all these pictures, which is what we did. You can find pictures of Howard Carter, who
they are true.
Yeah, became famous for discovering King Tut, as we will discuss in the book. That is what he's known for. And of course, like most women, Evelyn Herbert is mostly unknown, but based on the little information Marie Benedict had, she found that she probably worked with him. Because there's pictures of her in these excavation sites. And she was the daughter of Lord Caravan, who is the one that funded these exhibits. So there's that story developing. And then where fiction comes in is, the discovery of an erased Hatshepsut. And Marie Benedict kind of weaves a story about why she was literally erased from the monuments in Egypt.
And that was actually true.
Yes.
that did happen, but Marie did a great job of narrating a story for us.
It's
It was so
believable,
interesting.
right?
Yeah, very believable. I have to look it up.
Yeah, she speculates on the possible reasons of why she was erased.
I could totally
History.
agree with that.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yes, it does. It does. Yeah.
So one
definitely.
of the things that I reflected on, Mimi, is that here we are, in the year 2026, and as women, we have come far.
Yes.
But also, the book shows you, right, that women are still in the shadows in many respects. Right? You see two women that are separated by years, centuries, and
thousands of years.
Yes, and what they have in common is that they're in the shadows in terms of their respective roles. Hatshepsut, that's a pharaoh. Eventually, that's not how she starts.
No.
And Evelyn as an aspiring archaeologist. So, dear friends, let's dive in because that's what we do in this podcast.
Do a deep dive.
Yes.
Interesting conversations. And like you say, we learn a little bit
about us, and hopefully you learn a little bit about you.
And hopefully this inspires you to go, not just read the book, but if you already read it, but to do more, look into more about her, and because she has an interesting story.
Well, and that's how we, what history teaches us is that we need to learn it so that it's not forgotten. So, yes.
Funny you should mention that because I am starting off on page 5, and Lady Evelyn is, she comes from a very wealthy family in London, right? And it's, it reminded me of Bridgerton. They have the season where they go into different balls because it's her time to find someone to marry. And so she's dancing with somebody who I thought was a little bit older than her. I'm not sure how old she is. She's in her, is she 21? Maybe 19, 20?
She's in her 20s.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she's dancing at this ball, and and this is right after the war, and her house, Highclere Castle, was turned into a hospital during the war. Her mother was a nurse taking care of wounded soldiers. So she saw all of this, and as the war came to an end, their house, their castle has been kind of almost brought back to normal. And so she's dancing with this man, and he's saying how great it is that that's all in the past and that they can move forward. And Lady Eve is thinking, Lady Eve is Lady Evelyn. Why should we erase the past? She says, history should not be relegated to a dusty corner. We should pick it up, examine it, and allow it to inform our current days. And when I just wrote, we lose the lesson. When people forget about what happened, there's that risk of it being repeated. And like you said, we should learn from history, right? Learn it. It's there. It happened. Let's not forget about it. And how can we move forward so it doesn't happen again?
I think one of the things this book taught me is that we should not allow, as females, right,
Correct.
for women to be erased from history. Like,
yes.
If anything, it opened my eyes up to that. Like moving forward, right? That's one of the things I admire about Marie Benedict as a writer. I've read several of her books, and she always finds women that are not well known, and she creates a story.
Yeah.
It's just to talk about them.
Yeah, and before our podcast, we read one of hers about Agatha Christie. I'm a big fan, and it was real, you read her books, but then you don't read about her. So it was really nice to humanize this author and definitely put her in a spotlight. Yeah. As all women should, I think.
Yes.
So yeah, page, what do you have, 47? I'm on page 18. So, she attends these balls, and in that season of also, I think after or before, I don't remember, it's time for them to go to Egypt and do excavations, right? Her father and this Howard Carter.
Yes.
Yeah, he's the one, he's an archaeologist. He's been with this family for many years, and he travels with his father, with Lady Eve's father. And so she loves to hear the stories. She goes into the library. She loves to see all the artifacts and does her own research about these things. And so she's in the library, but she's talking about, and this is the reason why she's interested in Hatshepsut.
Hatshepsut.
She successfully ruled in the late 1400s BC and helped build a country that was unusually peaceful and economically prosperous. Since I was a lonely girl with a penchant for the past, I've been entranced by stories about the singular reign of one of the only female pharaohs ever to rule over the land of the pyramids, especially the manner in which she climbed from princess to queen to regent, then finally becoming a pharaoh herself. And when she said that, I was like, wow, quite the story. And that's in the beginning. So that tells me that we're going to learn about that. And we do read about how she went from just being a daughter
of a pharaoh
to being a pharaoh herself. Yeah, no, I thought that was interesting because it put me into that, okay, Lady Evelyn is going to learn about that and how does she get there? Yeah, so what page do you have?
I think it's still you, Lady.
Yeah, so then we move into Lady Evelyn, who she is, what she wants to do. And then it goes.
Sorry to interrupt, but one of the things I wanted to add is that, like, Lady Evelyn's issue is that her mother is obsessed with getting her married off. As you mentioned earlier, right? And that is
as that was part of society at that time.
Yes, and she's already taking a while because she's in her 20s. She should have been married off already, but her mind is in archaeology, so that is kind of like the challenge that she's facing, trying to keep postponing, this impending threat of being married off to a man, and who knows if this man will humor her interest in archaeology. So anyway, that I just wanted to clarify that in case we didn't.
Yeah, so then we go into another chapter or another section. Chapter 5, it says the princess. So I did have a note here. It's actually 3,405 years before Lady Evelyn talks about her here. And it's 1486 BC in Thebes, Egypt. So Hatshepsut's ritual every morning is a ritual to the god of, what is it? Hold on. Remember she has to go into a whole ritual and a whole bathing thing, and that God, because she is considered God's wife of Amun.
So there's a description of all the rituals that we don't want to mess up.
No, that's a lot.
When you read, you can see that, but there's different. It's a very elaborate
that a process that she has to go daily.
Preparation. Yes,
this is daily
to face the public.
This is daily, and so she's I don't know how old she is at this time, maybe 13, 14. I don't know, but she's very young, and it goes and it talks about her father, who was a pharaoh, Thutmose the First, and how he also has another son with another wife, because that was
he has a bunch of wives.
Common, and she knows she is to wed the son Thutmose II. She knows her own brother. Yes. She knows this because this is what they do, because they want to keep the bloodline only to themselves, right? To the family, to the royal family. So she knows already, she's already destined to marry this brother.
His child.
Half brother, right? Also a child of Thutmose II. So that talks about that. And on page 34, so I think at this point she didn't marry Thutmose II, right? But they get a notice. It says the royal bloodlines must be kept pure. I'd always been told, and so princess could only marry a prince. It simply wouldn't do to feel too fraternal toward a Menhos, because he was more than my brother. He was my betrothed. Oh, this was the first one.
First brother.
So she was betrothed to this guy. So my question was, is she grieving for her brother, or really didn't know what her future was going to hold now that her brother is dead?
Because death was very common also,
early on.
Illnesses and things like that. Betrayals, treason.
So she's like, well, am I grieving for my brother, or am I grieving because of my future to this guy that he's gone now? So what's going to happen to her? Yeah. Right? Yeah. So we know this guy he's gone. He's dead. Page 43, it says, not conforming to social norms. So one of the fascinating facts about Hatshepsut is her varying titles over time. and the way she used them to scale to the top. Most Egyptian women, even royal ones, assumed whatever role was assigned to them and kept it for life, allowing their futures to be dictated by men and the strictures of society. I wonder if that's true for modern Egyptian women. It's certainly the case for English ones.
So there we
This
go,
was in
that connection,
1920.
right, between women in different countries, different time periods.
Yeah, yeah.
Still that, right?
Yeah, and she was the one struggling with that because she knows there was going to be almost like an arranged marriage with whoever she found, because she wasn't going to marry. You don't marry for love. You marry because you're joining families or because of money,
Because
so
a
on and so
woman
forth.
must be protected by a man.
Yeah, exactly,
Basically.
because we can't do it ourselves.
Whether you're royalty or you're, aristocratic, or whether you're, a poor peasant.
Yes,
It doesn't matter.
So this was Lady Evelyn questioning, is this still true for modern Egyptian women? I don't know. That was a century ago, 1920.
And it'll come up further on in the book.
Yes. Where are you at?
I'm at 47.
Okay.
So I just wanted to I'm going to read to you Hatshepsut's background story, which Lily already told us a little bit about, but Evelyn summarizes it here pretty well. I think it's Evelyn. Hatshepsut's most important role was that of God's wife, a high-ranking ceremonial priestly post in which she woke the predominantly Egyptian god Amun with a daily ritual, imploring the sun to rise. It was the most powerful position a woman could hold outside of queen in ancient Egypt. She didn't become a queen until later, after her father died, and she married her half-brother, Thutmose II. The ancient Egyptian custom of royals only marrying their royal siblings. So this is her backstory.
It's funny. It says it fascinated her, but repulsed her at the same time.
Yes, I think we have similar feelings.
Yes. Definitely.
Well captured.
Yes.
On the next page, 48, we highlighted the same thing. So I will read to you, and then we will dissect this section of the book. Hatshepsut, as she became queen, then regent to her stepson Thutmose III, when her husband Thutmose II died. And finally, when she assumed the title of pharaoh, archaeologists had been largely unaware of Hatshepsut's existence until hieroglyphics were decoded in the mid-1800s, and remnants of destroyed statues and tablets were discovered in a ditch near her temple. Hatshepsut's title and reign became known. When they became known, archaeologists label her as a deviant and an usurper who stole the throne from its rightful owner, her stepson-nephew, Thutmose III. Further on, why else would someone have gone around and chiseled out every mention of her in statuary and monuments, other than as a form of retribution against power-hungry evildoer Hatshepsut? So once again, we see a female ruler being villainized by history. Further down the page, could it be, we theorize, that the people of her time could not tolerate a woman with power? So in the book, we are curious to find out what the reason is. And that is one of the reasons we keep reading. Are we going to find out why Hatshepsut was erased from history? Is she really this woman that historians tell us she is? So that is what we're exploring in terms of her story, her rise to being a pharaoh, and how she's remembered by historians.
Well, and it says, could it be theorized that the people of our time could not tolerate a woman with power, is what you read. I feel like we see that now still.
Yes.
There's some people that won't tolerate a woman in power.
In our recent elections in this country, some people did not want to vote for a candidate simply because she was a woman.
And here we are.
And here we are. And I think, again, making the connection with history, right? We don't learn from our mistakes. There's been many female rulers in history, but for some reason, there's resistance, and there continues to be resistance.
In the 2026, we're still seeing it.
Having women in leadership.
Like they're threatened by it.
Yes.
Yeah.
67. Here we are hearing the voice of Evelyn, and she talks to us about the perspective that travel gives you. Lily mentioned earlier, I think it's every year that they go to Egypt to do their excavations. And she sometimes comes with her father and with Mr. Carter to participate in these excavations. And her mom is not very enthusiastic about her participating in these trips. And her mother is surprised to see the city of Cairo. And she's like, oh, it's remarkably civilized, isn't it? And then Evelyn says, why wouldn't Egypt be eminently civilized? Mama's comment belies a condescending attitude about a sophisticated culture that thrived when our own illiterate ancestors were likely living in huts. Comments and perspectives that might not have caught my attention at home seem inappropriate here. So again, I repeat what I just said, right? It helps to travel because when you're in it, you see the truth versus you're just reading about it from other people telling you about it.
Very true. Is why we travel.
Yes, as much as we can.
As much as we want to. So if you guys help us out, if you like us and subscribe, you might help us get there faster.
Yes. Get further and farther. Page 69.
Oh, man.
So more history for you, dear reader. In the past, I'm reading from page 69, licensed archaeologists have been permitted by law to keep half of the artifacts they excavate, with the other half going to the Egyptian government. Those archaeologists can keep those items for display or study or sell them legally to collectors or institutions. But unlicensed diggers, so-called grave robbers, have been unearthing Egyptian treasures since time immemorial, and those illicit objects also find their way into the marketplace. This sometimes happens through antiquities fences, men who look the part of upstanding dealers but actually operate as middlemen between the grave robbers and the collectors, or through shops. Given that all excavations are meant to be licensed by the Egyptian government, this illicit unearthing and subsequent sale of objects is distinctly criminal, and yet seems to be an embedded part of the antiquities business. It is anyone's guess whether such practices will be tolerated if the Egyptian people take back control. So we're going to see a sort of civil war in Egypt throughout the book. And that is one topic that comes up a lot. What right do the English people have to come and excavate in Egypt? Even if they have the licenses and the permits, they are taking Egypt's history, artifacts away.
It does come up again, for sure.
So you know, this debate is consistently seen throughout the book. Should they? Is it right? And
that's a question that it comes up later. And a question for you, dear readers, who does have rights?
Yes.
For all this.
So we will see that. Page 73. Lily, okay, so on page 73, again, here we get a little bit of history in terms of, or cultural education in terms of the women and how they dress in Egypt. Evelyn mentions that she hears a group of older English women pass through her perch, and that they talk about the Egyptian women and how they have not adopted the practices of the English women, because there's been a British presence in Egypt for a while now. These ladies are having a conversation, and they make comments such as the following. We've shown the Egyptian women how to step out of a purdah, leave behind the insular world of women, and interact in society, haven't we? Yet they remain in their homes behind closed doors. Then they talk about the purdah, the practice of certain groups of women in Egyptian society of keeping themselves separate from men who aren't family members. It can take a physical form or manifest in the women's attire. The women hide behind their veils. And then one of the women shows her ignorance by saying, I can never get it straight. Burqa, yashmak, something else entirely. She says, who can keep track? And I think it's the tone. You know, one thing is not to know. Another thing is to be so dismissive of the culture.
Just being ignorant in their culture. And you're right, not to know, but also not wanting to know.
Yes. Like just kind of saying, it's all the same. Who cares who knows? I don't know. I don't understand why they do this. Then another one mentions, she says, I think their class dictates what sort of head covering they wear. Or perhaps their religion. Either way, they're stuck at home or covered up when they venture out. Even poor Queen Nasli is a prisoner in her palace, all bejeweled and dressed up in her finest, but nowhere to go. Then mention of Zaglu. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. He gets mentioned, and so does his wife. And he was protesting against the colonization of the English. He was exiled from Egypt because of this. And his wife's name, I think, was Safia. And she was a political activist who also led a women's rights movement around 1919. So she was doing her own fight. She was supporting her husband, but also speaking out in defense of women's rights. They call her the mother of Egyptians. Evelyn makes a comment about these English women that she overhears talking. And she says she found it ironic that these women were chastising the Egyptian women for following their traditions and staying within the confines of their worlds when these women were doing the exact same thing.
Yes, sure. Right? Yeah. And this is Evelyn at a young age compared to these women, and she is speaking more mature about it.
Yes.
And more understanding. And who are we to criticize anybody's culture?
Yes.
Or traditions, right?
Yes. Page 74. The colonizer isolates themselves. I feel that this is another connection with current times, right? We see this in other countries. At the bottom of the page, she talks about Egyptian Cairo and the manicured English Cairo. So there's the colonization of a certain area of Cairo because of the English presence. One of the characters mentions that she feels like she's in Wimbledon, like she's in England. They call it a second England. She says it's almost eerie, and the reason they justify these areas of Cairo being so English is that British officials and their families need a place to live while they're there, to have their children educated properly. And I'm reading to you from page 75. And so that they could keep a hygienic quote unquote distance from the Egyptians. These English people that are living in Cairo are afraid of illnesses and the way of life of the Egyptians. So it's like, then why are you there?
Exactly.
Go back home. And they want to keep their English families separated and isolated from the culture of the country that they're in. And going back to my original comment, I think we see this in a lot of countries, right? Even now, you try to keep, it as similar to your country of origin as you can.
And why not do that, but also respect where you're at?
Yes.
Right?
Yes. It's like you're a visitor, you're a guest.
Be a guest, be respectful.
Further down the page, she mentions the English military men and the businessmen that have to interact with Egyptians. They ask about Egyptian staff working in English homes. So it's okay to have them work and clean your house, but other than that, you don't want them in your vicinity. She says, he says, I forget who he is, but he says, we do engage with Egyptians in our offices and we do have them working in our homes, but we are told to keep a healthy distance, quote unquote. So there you go, which is what we said earlier, right? So finally, there's what they call an artificial barrier between the two cultures. And it's no wonder it is said at the end of this page that they'd like us to leave. So they're clearly making this, like what they called it, this metaphorical barrier, or even literal, right? That we're here in your country, but stay away from us.
Stay away from us.
Yes.
We still want to do our own thing.
We think we're better than you.
Yeah.
We're cleaner than you. So that's kind of the vibe in 19.
But come and clean my house.
Yes, exactly.
Doesn't it make
this is wrong on so many levels.
I mean, I feel like very relevant to our time.
Yes. That's what we're saying. Yes, we see a lot of that now.
Yeah.
Stay in your neighborhoods.
Stay there. Yes. But come and clean my house.
Yes. Take care of my children.
Yes.
And manicure my lawn.
Yeah.
I have nothing until page 95. So on page 95, We are now with the queen.
Yes.
Hatshepsut. And I forget who died here. Oh, it was her father, the pharaoh.
What page are you on?
This is
I'm on page 102.
This is 95.
Oh, 95, okay.
So I think we've heard of this before. Women being hired for funerals. So there's an art to it. The art of mourning to appease the gods with the shrieking and beating of their breasts. So these women are there to cry and yell, and it was a job. Imagine that.
Can I?
How sad that you have I don't know. I mean,
to get paid for that?
Yes. And is there no real grief? Or is it the more show? I don't know.
The greater the status, the more show
that you have to make,
And somebody else should do that because I don't need to look like that?
Yes. Yeah, true.
Right?
True, yes.
Interesting. That is interesting.
And I think it's in other cultures as well, not just the Egyptian culture. I'm in 133.
102. 102, she does marry her half-brother, Thutmose II, and she is pregnant. She's having a child, and she's currently giving birth, and her mom, Hatshepsut's mom, looks over and says, "It's a girl, Hatshepsut." And the others cluck in sympathy. But I will have none of it. After all, our sex has not stopped my mother and me from wielding our own share of power. For some people, it's like, oh, a girl, especially them, because the men are the ones that go into these king and pharaoh positions, right? But she's having a girl. What's her destiny? Besides getting married and bearing children.
Yes.
And Hatshepsut doesn't want to hear that. She's not going to let that stop her or her daughter from becoming what they were meant to be, right? She's going to do what she can to raise her daughter, not with sympathy, you know. And that's just been her personality. Yeah. Page 113, we're still in Egypt. And it said, I just wrote how sad. So we know that babies didn't make it. Not just full term, but after a few years because of illnesses, right? And I just wrote how sad. It says, the deep brown eyes of my beautiful girl glance in my direction, and she leaps up. Racing to my side, she wraps her delicate arms around my waist. This intimacy is unusual among the royals. Like all Egyptian families, our infants and children develop illness and pass to the afterlife young. And so we tend to keep a distance until they reach young adulthood. After Neferu, that's her daughter's name, I was told I'd never have another child. Not that I've divulged this to my husband, of course. Thus, my daughter is particularly precious to me, and I allow nothing to come between us. And just how sad, because we know, it's so important, that connection between
an infant and their mother.
And that bond.
And here they're actively discouraging it because of how common death and the younger years.
Right? To save you from that grief, don't connect with your child. So this is years later, her daughter's coming up to her and she can embrace her. So I wonder how she was when she was younger, right? Did she hold her?
I'm laughing because of the flies.
There's things happening here.
There are bugs around us. But yeah, so here's where maybe, I don't know, is it fiction? Is it not? Or was she just different, right? Or did mothers really struggle with this? Do I want to get close to my child?
Yeah.
Or do I do what I'm supposed to do, which is detach? Because there's this risk that I might lose this child.
Yeah.
How was it back then? How much
Like if you wanted to, you said no. Or did they take the child away?
Yes.
For some time where you couldn't see your child. You were a mom, but then what?
Yeah.
What definition of a mom? That's a great question.
Yes.
Just because you birth a child, does that make you a mom?
Yeah. I don't know. The one that births the child, the one that raises the child. Is it a team effort?
Yeah. It takes a village is what I hear.
Yes. That's what they say.
Yeah. Page 115, at this point, Thutmose II has died. So she is a widow with a child. That's all I got there.
Okay.
It's just a timeline here.
Yes. And it's important, so we can keep our facts straight. 133.
Oh my, I have 123. So going back to archaeology and who has rights to whatever was found, right? So with independence, and this is back Lady Eve, I'm going to say current time to them, 1920s.
Yes.
With independence looming, the new Egyptian government will naturally want to oversee their own history and their own artifacts. The primacy of ancient Egypt may play a role in their new system of partage. Why on earth would the new government want to split ownership of archaeological discoveries in half, as the government under the protectorate has always agreed to? I think this is Lord, what was Eve's dad's name?
Caravan?
Caravan and his brother.
Carnarvon.
Yes.
I will forget. Lord C. We're going to call him Lord C.
Lord C. Papa shook his head at Uncle Aubrey's proclamation. I don't think most Egyptians care about archaeology. And I was just like, why, who are you?
Yeah. And this is how they justify, it, you know, I'm going to call it invading another country.
That's,
And, excavating, because they think that they do appreciate, the history, and that the Egyptians don't appreciate their own history. So they have to come do it for them.
Yeah, so
That's what they're saying.
I have money, I'm going to go, therefore I have rights to what I find, because you don't care about it.
Yes.
You don't know how to, because you're going to break things. And I just wrote, who benefited from archaeology in Egypt in the 1920s? I just put European and American archaeologists, the wealthy sponsors, and who should benefit from the discovery of cultural heritage. I wrote country, where it's from, should it be the discoverers, or museums?
And this continues to be a problem in current day,
Yeah.
2026.
Yeah.
What year are we? 2026?
2026. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's so sad because there's so much wealth. I mean, we're here at an exhibit that they brought from different museums because of the mummies that have been found from around the world, not just from Egypt, but
let's pay attention to that, Lily. When we go in there, who do they belong to? Because they're going to tell us there who houses these artifacts and these mummies.
Yeah.
Let's see how many of them are actually in their home, in their homes, original homes, right?
Yeah. No, I thought that was very interesting, and how sad for the Egyptians to be just watching it walk away.
Yeah.
Leave,
just
right?
Taking their things, yes.
Yeah. So page 145, you're
133. Here we are still with Eve. And my comment was regarding Eve's mother. I forgot her name. But she does not support her passion.
No.
Which is, to participate in these archaeological digs. My comment was, one would expect one woman to empower another, a mother to empower her daughter, but she continues to discourage her. So I'll read what she says here. The anger that has been simmering beneath the surface for as long as I can recall rises up, becoming fury. This is Evelyn. She's just angry. She says, how can you not understand that ancient Egypt and excavations are my passion? Have you not seen that in evidence since I was young? You, of all people, who found your own calling during the war in building hospitals and caring for the injured soldiers, I would think you'd understand. So yes, we would also think she would understand. And ironically, it's her dad that supports her interests, not her mother.
So do you think it's because of what society's going to say?
Of course.
Right?
Yes. The expectation is that she marry at a certain age. Yeah. She's already taking too long. And what are people going to say about her? And is she going to be able to get a husband? And how is she going to be judged as a mom for allowing her to do that? Yes, that too. 134. Again, optics. 134, your passion, says Mom, as you call it, must be to find a husband. She tells her enormous sacrifices have been made to change our world, and yet you want me to return to the stifling roles of the past. This is Evelyn. Roles which you yourself have rejected. Why don't you want for me the same life of purpose you once claimed for yourself? Whoa. Yeah, that's why I had to read her words. They were spot on. So this is the constant dynamic between mother and daughter. And this is the part of the historical fiction that we like, right? We get to see that develop. You will read short clips about Evelyn, but in historical Evelyn, you don't get to see her feelings, her emotions. And this is what Marie Benedict imagines for her. Page 138. Children as employees. So Evelyn talks to us about a young boy that was helping them during their digs. She said that she'd protested to Mr. Carter when she saw a child bringing water to the laborers and fetching their lunches. But he told me that this employment was far easier and more profitable than working in the fields, which he would otherwise be doing. So this is how Mr. Carter justifies employing this child. I think she said he was, an 8-year-old. 8-year-old Ali, the littlest worker at the camp.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. What do you say to that, right? It's like either he's here running around bringing us water and lunch, or he'll be out in the field. So are they really saving him?
Right. Exactly.
Food for thought.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I'm on page 145.
Okay.
Still me?
Yes.
Still me. Okay. It says self-teach. Okay, so, and this is, she's talking to, I don't know if it's somebody that in Egypt, from a museum, and she tells him, Lady Evelyn, well, since I don't have access to the formal education, more and more Egyptologists seem to be getting these days, I must learn other ways. I use independent study, observation in the field, and conversations with experts like you. And I just put, right? Yeah. Self-teaching. Yeah. She has to work harder to prove herself in a male-dominant field. And that's not letting her give up. She has a library in her high-player castle. She reads about ancient Egypt. And then she goes in, is in the front lines field. Right there. Excavating along with her dad. And I just wondered what would have happened if her dad wouldn't allow that for her. You know, would she just be in the library just reading on it? But that's different than being there, getting your hands dirty.
Like literally.
Yeah. Dressing like an archaeologist. Yeah. What a big deal. She talks about that.
Yeah, she talks about how people look at her when she's dressed in a certain way, right?
Her linen, her khakis.
You have to wear, practical clothing to do that kind of work.
Because of how hot Marie Benedict is, of how hot it is there, right? And that's not keeping her from going in there and doing that. Yep, that was it. Page 147. Yes. I wrote, what an appropriately magnificent monument to a pharaoh with such a prosperous reign, I say to Mr. Burton when he joins me, shaking my head in wonder. I mean, she restored trade with Asia, ensured work and food and services for her people, created one of the most ambitious building plans of any pharaoh, and did it all without constant war. A woman did all that without constant war. Yes. How historians interpret powerful women in an ancient history through a biased lens. Okay, so we continue with the prevailing view around here is that she must have been an ambitious and ruthless woman to have climbed so high. Since women weren't typically allowed power, she must have seized it through illicit means when her husband Thutmose II died, and her stepson Thutmose III assumed the throne. Why else would someone have wanted to scratch out every mention of her? She must have been a natural, according to some. So that's what historians are saying. Well, she deserved that. She got her power through things she shouldn't be doing. Therefore, she's not deserving of this legacy. That's sad. Again, justifying.
Yes.
Erasing her. And if a male did it, that justifies that, right? Where are you at? Page 161? So
160.
160, okay.
So on 160, Howard tells Evelyn, when they are trapped in a tomb. So they are getting in there, digging, and there's like a collapse of something.
Like rubble. Yeah.
And they're waiting to be rescued. And he says to her, never lament your efforts, Eve. It is only by failing that we will ultimately succeed. And I thought those were very wise words. If we don't, sometimes failing is part of the process, right?
You learn from it.
And you learn from it and you keep trying again. And so she's sitting there, ruminating on all her failures.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, this is the only way you achieve success.
Just to going back a little bit. So Howard Carter and Lady Eve, they share the same passion, I guess, to go and look for this Hatshepsut's tomb. Not her father, though.
Yeah.
So they are keeping their search away from their father. He wants to go find King Tut. And so they're like, yeah, we'll go with you. Yeah, we'll help you.
So they make him believe this whole time that they're searching.
Is why she's there. So it's they got in there, realized it's not her tomb, so she feels like, failed again. Yeah, but she has Howard Carter. And he must be an older man, right? It's what it seems like. Initially, I thought, oh, maybe that's going to be where the romance is at, but it's not. He's also like another older brother, I guess, father figure to her. And also...
It seems like he's a contemporary of her dad. Also, one thing that we haven't mentioned that might come up is that money is dwindling. So her family is struggling financially. I think mom is she inherited money.
From her godfather, yeah.
So she's the one financing these digs. And she's kind of getting tired of
it.
Like, nothing's coming out of them, nothing significant. And so every year that they go back, there's this risk that it might be the last time. So they're pressed for finding Hatshepsut. And so this is why she's feeling, down in the dumps at this particular moment. 162. On 162, we are still hearing, we're still in the 1920s, 1921. And we get a little bit of Egyptian history here that I'm just going to read to you. The country has again erupted in riots and strikes because England has not agreed to the sought-after terms for independence, but insists on continuing the protectorate. The protests have been organized by none other than Mr. Zaghloul's wife, Safiya. This former daughter of a prime minister had indeed followed the traditional path of Purdah until her husband's exile, when everything changed and she assumed his mantle and organized the efforts of the Waqt. Her special talent is mobilizing all the Egyptian women, Copts and Muslims, Pasha and worker class, well-educated and illiterate, behind the cause of freedom, an unprecedented event in Egyptian society. Even with Mr. Zaghloul back in Egypt again, she continues to lead protests. So I love that we got to see another, she was not one of the protagonists of this book, but we got to learn, I didn't know about her, to learn about yet another powerful leader in Egyptian history and in the feminist movement. They don't call it the feminist movement, but it is a feminist movement.
In Egypt, current times Egypt.
Yes, 1920s.
Yeah. It mirrors what Hatshepsut was doing in Egypt, in ancient Egypt, right? Yeah. I'm on page 106. I don't know, 8, 9, because it doesn't say. This one says the regent and the lover.
Oh, yes.
Hatshepsut is considered the regent because after Thutmose II died, the throne or the what is it, the
next
title would go to Thutmose III, but he's 8.
Yes.
So then she, as a stepmother, as the aunt, as
stepmother/aunt,
has to step in as the regent, is what they call her, right? So right here it says, instead I sit here, regal and immobile, as I wait to learn the future of our country, wait for ritual, wait for tradition, wait for the consensus of these leaders standing before me, wait as women have always been fated to do. There she is waiting because she doesn't know what's going to happen. And then the reason why it's called the regent and the lover is because she is not allowed to marry again. I guess that was tradition then. She's not allowed to, but she finds comfort in company in her daughter's tutor.
Yes.
Who also admires her as not just as a pharaoh or leader, but as a woman, and she brings that I'm a woman, right?
So I like that we get to see that intimate, part of her. She's a woman, who is able to fall in love. And wants a romantic partner by her side, but she is the most important woman in Egypt as a leader, right? The most important leader. And yet she can't have something as simple as that.
Yeah, and she's
denied that.
Yeah, she's denied that, and especially in public.
Yes,
especially. And she's getting these feelings. And remember, she was married, but she didn't marry for love.
She was now children and her brother.
So now she's understanding, and this is not someone in the bloodlines of the royal family. This is an advisor. Yeah, her advisor, pretty much. Yeah. So 173. I just wrote mom's question mark. So she is considered the pharaoh now, right? And she's got a lot of jobs. And it says, by the time the sun begins to set each day, I am weary. Will there ever come a time when I can lay down my duties and simply be Hatshepsut? Do I even know who she is anymore? I banish these questions from my mind. I know they are ill-befitting, my station. It doesn't matter what I want and need. What matters is the God's will for Egypt and my efforts to manifest their will. I just feel like it reminds me of moms, right? At the end of the day, they're so tired because they took the kids to school, because they fed their kids, because they went and picked them up and took them to soccer, all these things. But when do you have time for you?
Yeah.
And, you know, a message to all moms out there, don't lose who you are. Don't lose your identity. Yes, you're a mom, but be who you are first. Be okay up here, because if you're not okay up here, you can't be okay for anybody.
You gotta take care of you.
Yeah.
As they say, right, when the airplane mask falls, you need to put it on you first.
Yes, exactly. You can't take care of anybody else. Yeah. So, all moms out there, it's
Yes.
happy belated Mother's Day, by the way, to all of you. Yeah, so it just reminded me of that, because she was still a mother also for her. But, you know, there were servants and there was nannies and there was a lot of stuff.
See, that's the other thing, like the other side of the coin, Lily, when you were mentioning, right, that we're so exhausted as mothers, but also Hatshepsut makes us see that, you know, there's women that are not able to do those things for their children for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And that we should also treasure those moments, doing all those little things for our kids. Because, like in her case, she's, you know, Pharaoh now. She's not allowed to do these little tasks that other mothers do. She kind of would love to. She would love to be with her daughter and do those things that the servants get to do.
Well, she's doing all of this for the people of Egypt.
Yes, but she can't do something for her daughter.
So sad.
The irony.
Yeah, and the next one, so we, like you mentioned before, the funds are dwindling down. Yes. There's not a lot.
I'm on 10, you too?
Yes. Oh,
do you know what you want to read?
Yeah. I think no, go ahead. You have more.
So on page 210, my question was, should people throw parties when they don't have money? So let me read to you why this question arose. What sort of archaeologist could I possibly be if I couldn't even weave together the obvious clues about my own family's fortunes to recognize that we were on the financial brink? So she says, a knot forms in my stomach and I cannot eat another bite of the turbot or pheasant. Even the sight of the expensive Bordeaux and oysters, and you know I'm not rich because I can't pronounce these words.
Bordeaux, is that?
Makes my gut royal. How much is this house party costing? Is every sip of wine and every taste of lobster taking away much needed financial support for Highclere Castle or the excavations? So she's thinking of every little thing she sees that's being spent on this party and thinking, why are we throwing this party? We have no money.
Yeah, and I just wrote appearances to keep up appearances. Yes. And I think that's just, you know, it may come from the mom, you know, well, because how embarrassing to let others know that
to know that you have no money.
Yeah.
And again, the topic of money and finances comes up again. But yes, that was my question. Like, I think that many people do that, throw parties when they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Right? The priorities are a bit confused.
Yeah. So, I mean, let me go back a bit. It's just, we already passed it, but there has been a plot, rumors about a plot against Hatshepsut.
Yes.
And her advisors.
For obvious reasons, right? This woman is gaining too much power. And they want to get rid of her.
Yeah. So we know that already. Page 2.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, I think it's just so she meets, I don't know, is it an American or she meets a journalist who's going to go, yes, because she's very blunt and forward, right? And she goes and is going to be interviewing Sagul's wife because she's the one that's leading these protests, right, of what's happening. And she said, wow, you're going to go meet with her and interview her? And she, you know, she's a stranger. She's like, hey, yeah, do you want to come along? But I can introduce you as a silent
assistant or something.
An assistant, she's just there as her personal assistant. So pretty much don't say anything, because then you're going to give yourself that you're English, right? And remember, because this is all against the English, right? And so she's there and says, and Lady Eve says, you do this for me? Risk your time with Madame Zaglou by bringing me through deceptive means? You don't even know me, I ask, wondering at the magnanimity of this stranger. I'd be doing it for all women who seek understanding and connection, and who step outside societal expectations to do so. Women like you, women archaeologists, women like Madame Zaglou, women like me. And so it's, you know, putting your differences aside, and it's like, as women, sticking together and standing up for each other, and letting, you know, allowing their voices to be heard. I just love that. She got that.
Seeing the sisterhood here.
Yeah, I love that sisterhood.
Page 239.
Okay.
History repeats itself, I said. This is the struggle of women. So I'll read to you. As women, we do whatever is necessary and use whatever means at our disposal for the larger good of our families and our country. No matter how uncomfortable, no matter if it violates the rules of our societies, no matter if it puts us in harm's way. In my land, this is how it has always been done. And we will continue to do so in the face of this deception that the English will actually allow Egypt to become an independent country. How like a modern day Hatshepsut she is, I think, this is Evelyn speaking, doing what her country and people need by whatever means available to her and justifying it similarly. So that was Madame Saglul speaking to the interviewer, and Evelyn sees this connection between the way Hatshepsut thinks and the way Madame Saglul speaks.
And then on the next page, remember she's supposed to be silent because otherwise she's going to give her accent away. And she says something, and Madame Saglula says, "You are English?" She must have heard the accent despite my efforts. And she said, "Yes, ma'am. You are unlike any other English lady I have encountered. Is that so? I am uncertain how to react. Is this a compliment or an insult? Either way, I keep my tone amiable. Yes, most English women make no attempt to know us, neither historic Egyptian women nor modern ones. They will not mix with us. And on those rare occasions when our paths cross, they ask insulting questions like how many wives our husbands have or whether we have indoor bathrooms. They make assumptions based on preconceived notions without any knowledge of our past, our present, or our future." And I just wrote, like, that's just, I think we're all guilty at some point in making assumptions. But does that make us ignorant or really not just caring about knowledge? And it goes back to why not do our research, right?
I think it has a lot to do with tone and, just being dismissive, feelings of superiority. That's when it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
We all have some sort of ignorance. We don't know it all, right? But just the attitude with which we approach this unknown, the mysteries of different cultures. And that's what we're seeing here. Like, one thing is for you to not know, and another thing is for you to think you're superior or better.
Well, and to generalize the stereotypes.
Yes.
Right? Assuming that they all do that.
On 241, I really love this metaphor, and it actually, I think, is the metaphor with which the book ends.
Okay.
Egyptian women in particular, are like the desert sand. We are walked upon every day by people who are oblivious to our fine yet strong grains and who take our presence for granted. But then one day we will sweep up into a mighty storm and transform the land. It's so inspirational.
Yes, very strong words right there. Yes. And not just for the book, just in general.
Yes.
Yeah. 252? Oh, no. Okay. So I just wrote here, proud of her gender. She, as you know, she's announcing that she's a pharaoh. She says, "I am indeed a woman. Matkari Kenemet Amun Hatshepsut." I yell out for all to hear. And this is her, it says here, "I stand before you not only as Pharaoh Matkar Kenemet Amun Hatshepsut, but as the eternal ruler anointed by Amun himself and crowned by my father, Thutmose I. As such, I am the beneficent king, the lawgiver who judges seeds. I am the wild horned bull coming from heaven. I am the falcon who glides over the lands, defending and dividing his borders. I am the jackal who swiftly circles the land in an instant. I am excellent of heart, one who glorifies her father, attentive of deeds to render justice to him, and one who rests with Mot and bestows it." So right there, she's yelling it loud and proud. I am a woman. Good for her.
If I had to write a paragraph like that, what would I write? It just got me thinking as you're reading
it.
Right.
I
am. Who am I? What do I stand for?
Yeah, right? Yeah, exactly. Because and she's saying that because when she dresses up as a pharaoh, she has to wear the gold beard. She has to do the whole dress up and everything. So maybe by looking at her, you don't know, is she a woman or is she a man?
One of the things that I remember Marie Benedict telling us in her talk was that you see that evolution of how Hatshepsut at first would dress up as a male and wear the beard. And then eventually she started kind of like discarding all that. And she became more feminine in the later images that were created of her. And then, of course, there was the blatant attempt to erase her.
And that's probably the ones that they erased, the ones that depict her as a woman.
Yes. And again, you can find these images if you Google it. for, I mean, maybe for copyright reasons, she didn't include them in the book.
Maybe, yeah. I have 263, and it's just more of a timeline. It's Nefertari, Hatshepsut's daughter, and Thutmose III's wedding. And one of them is 14 years old. 14 years old, they're getting married. As happy as possible with an arranged familiar marriage, I suppose, he answers. This is Senemut, Hatshepsut's companion, advisor, lover.
Say it as it is.
Yes, he's a lover. Do you think he'll make her happy? I whisper as I watch the new bride and groom link hands for a dance. They look handsome together, perfectly in sync with the lyrical music of the harp, lute, and drum. As happy as possible with an arranged familial marriage, I suppose, he answers, trying to hide the note of doubt in his voice. As happy as you were with Thutmose II. Ouch.
I know.
But it's so true. Yeah. And can you imagine, like, it's one thing, she's the one that was married, arranged marriage, right? But to see your daughter have to step into that role.
Yeah. Knowingly walking her down that path. Because that's what rulers do.
Yeah.
They marry their siblings.
Yeah.
And they're not in love, obviously.
Yeah. And maybe now, because she knows what love is, now she can ask, will she be happy? Or maybe before, if she didn't find Senemut, maybe she wouldn't ask that because she knew that's her destiny. So maybe that has changed her way of thinking.
And one of the things that I saw in the book that I'm like, I had a hard time believing that maybe that is how it was, that they are kind of like a secret family of sorts. That, Senemut sees Hatshepsut's daughter as his own, like he becomes a father figure, and they have very few intimate moments as a family of three. And you got to wonder why was it really like that? Did that even happen?
Right. And I do wish that for her.
Hopefully it did.
Yeah.
Let's move on with
268.
Yeah, that's you.
Oh, that's me. So the first we see of Hatshepsut is she's getting ready for this ritual because she is the wife of Amun, the god of Amun, right? And so right here it talks about, I always question, like, well, how do you become the wife of a god, right? Yes. And it says here, Queen Ames, that's her mom, the god Amun appeared to my mother, Queen Ames, 9 months before the day of my birth and impregnated her as well.
Oh.
And then informed my father that his daughter would be both human and divine and ruled alongside him. So that's how it was, So
she has two fathers.
Yeah.
The god Amun and her human father, the pharaoh.
So, and I think I read somewhere that's what gave her that strength to go up to the people and say, I am a pharaoh, because she has a divine intervention. Yes. What are you,
276?
Oh, me too. Yes.
We're in the same part.
Yes. This is Eve's dad tells them Howard Carter, and that it's the last season of digging because there is no money.
And then she says, money is not a polite topic and should be avoided to the extent possible. And I feel that that this continues to be the case, right? Money is just not a thing we talk about. Or who do we talk to about money? Is it a polite topic or is it a private topic? Because there is a difference.
Yeah.
Right? Can we share our finances with people we trust? Like you, Nini. You know I'm poor.
But let's not flaunt it.
Now all of you know that I'm poor.
You know what? But you know what?
I forgot we were in front of the camera, honestly, when I said that.
But what defines poor? You can travel.
That is true too. Yes, that is true too.
Right. So and fine. If all our money goes to travel, so be it. We're not going to be buried with our money, as we've learned. There are grave diggers that will go in there and take our stuff.
But I think it's interesting, right? How we're so afraid to talk about money with even people that we trust, but we can confide our most intimate secrets, relationship troubles, but somehow money is off limits.
When there's some that will flaunt it and talk about it, I make this much.
Well, when you have it.
When you have it, or just for appearances, or to, make people jealous, I don't know.
Yes.
But so, okay, Lady Eve already knew about their troubles.
Yes.
But this is because I think she overheard a conversation. But this is the first time she actually hears it from her father.
Yes.
So that was a big deal because now it's actually
a more impending. Doom now, right? Like this is the last season.
Yeah. So they what page are you?
86.
85.
Okay, go ahead.
And so it is, she begs Dad, like, can it be our last, like, let this be our season? Because she's still searching for Hatshepsut's tomb. Dad doesn't know this. So Dad also said, okay, let's go look for Tut's tomb, because that's what they're looking for. And so I think they had heard from Howard Carter, who went there first, and he found something, and he sent them a note or a letter saying he found something. So they're going in there with this, well, Lady Eve is going in there like, oh, could it be Hatshepsut's tomb?
Yeah.
And Dad's like, oh, could it be Tut's, right? So they go, and they're both excited, all of them, because this is a big deal, because depending on what they find, that can fund future excavations, right?
It might not be over quite yet. Is kind of
yes, exactly. So there's some kind of hope, and but we learn in page 285, they do indeed find something, but it is not Hatshepsut's tomb.
And then on page 280,
it's King Tut's tomb.
287, we go back into the politics between Egypt and London and colonialism, right? So I'm just going to read to you. This is Lord C speaking. He says that they need to go see what he found, right? Because if they don't go in now, they may never get a chance. The authorities will swoop in, and we will never know all that we found. Items will start to disappear before our very eyes. So he feels like he has ownership of these items because he's part of the excavating team. And he finds it troublesome that the authorities will, the Egyptian authorities will take these items, which belong to Egypt. And then Evelyn says, we are planning to make a surreptitious opening in the tomb and enter it in the dead of night. So this is a clear contravention of the Egyptian law requiring that authorities be physically present when opening a new tomb. I know what Madame Zagul would think about this decision. After all, her husband has publicly decried foreign excavations and the custom of cartage as unacceptable vestiges of colonialism. And with all the recent changes, I cannot imagine it will hold. Shouldn't the Egyptian government have a say in the way we are disturbing the remains of their own people? Even though part of me wants to follow along with Papa's strategy, I'm torn. My time with the Saguls has changed me. And then she says, but we will do nothing to disturb the treasure that we find, correct? She asks her dad. We will not move any artifacts or take any objects from the tomb, only record and catalog what's inside for our own purposes. And Papa and Howard agree, but are they just appeasing her?
Right.
So that's kind of where we're at. We're seeing the politics, the lawlessness, and also the laws that they should be honoring, and will they ultimately honor them. 294.
And I think something that there was somebody that she met, Beaugrave.
Oh yes, we didn't talk about her. We failed to talk about her romantic interest, right?
Yeah.
For some reason,
He's a lieutenant or something, and she. They have a dance or something at one of the balls in Egypt, I think, right?
Yes.
Somewhere.
Yes.
But then they see each other again, and because they obviously didn't exchange contact information, so they come across each other again, and they both kind of, they're both interested in each other. So there's this relationship forming, and her feelings are coming out, and it seems like he's also into her. And he does tell her he would love to be a part of her archaeology, I don't know.
You would like to join her on one of the trips.
Yeah.
Yes. And also what we didn't mention, I don't know if we will, or we will now, is that her brother,
Porchy
got married to a woman that he actually loved. And his parents were against this marriage because it wasn't financially beneficial to the family. But he went ahead with it anyway.
And the dad does mention, if Porchy would have married into a wealthy family, we would have the funds too.
Yes.
Isn't that
incredible?
Sad?
Yes,
but go Porchy.
Yes, good for Porchy. 294. So on 294, we see Tutankhamun's tomb being what's the word I'm looking for? It's open, and so all of a sudden, all these people want to go and see it. So my question is: are people really interested in the history of Tutankhamun, or are they just following a fad? They talk about a fervor sweeping the globe, and according to I think it's Evelyn here, she doesn't believe it's born out of a legitimate interest in ancient history or a fascination with Egypt. but a hunger for the latest headlines and descriptions of the golden treasure within the tomb. Very few care about the historical mysteries that Tutankhamun's tomb might answer. And then further along in the page, Evelyn is conflicted, which is what we saw earlier, right? She is English and she is fascinated by Egyptian history, but she also wants to respect the Egyptians. So here she says, do the Egyptian people perceive me as a locust come to devour their heritage? Certainly the nationalists must think the magnificent partage Papa expects to receive as part of the excavation would be tantamount to grave robbery itself. I can almost hear Mr. Zaglu argue that Tutankhamun's tomb belongs to Egypt and is crucial for the country's pride and identity. The newly powerful nationalists have been uniform in arguing that Tutankhamun deserves as the symbol or serves as the symbol of the government's ancient power and claim the boy pharaoh as their own. So she is very conflicted.
Yeah.
She understands where they're coming from, but she's also an enthusiast when it comes to archaeology or Egyptian treasures, and she would like to take some for herself.
Yeah, because she was a part of that.
Yes.
And like you said, it was opened for others who had the money to pay. So it's almost like this new attraction at the zoo they're coming to see. So she just doesn't appreciate that because they're not genuine for their interest, right? It's the fear of missing out. Oh, you're doing it, I'm doing it too because I have the money and I want to do it too.
And I mean, I have to say, like on page 298, it's when it hit me, like, you are going into somebody's tomb.
Yeah.
Like, how would we like it if people just started digging up cemeteries? Because that is what is being done here. On page 298, Evelyn says, I feel less like a discoverer and more like an invader into Tutankhamun's very private past. So not only are they invading a culture, it's a religious, it's an invasion of a religious ritual. And I am also conflicted like Evelyn because we are here at a museum, right? Where we're going to see all these artifacts.
We're gonna pay.
Yes, to see them. And I mean, let's state it simply. They were dug out of a tomb.
Yeah.
It's I mean, in a way it was
and transferred. What does that do for the, because they believed in the afterlife, right?
Yes.
How are we disturbing their afterlife?
Yes.
Are we adding to this?
Yeah. No, we're talking about it. We're bringing awareness. We're bringing awareness. We're bringing awareness. We're getting you to think about it.
Yes.
So on 299, there's a debate regarding the find, right? The discovery of Tutankhamun.
Yes.
Howard says, this is the biggest archaeological discovery of all time. If we continue to shut down our work to let your friends in for private tours, who knows what damage will occur to the artifacts. So he's speaking to Lord C, who is the face of the discovery.
Yes.
Whereas Howard is the one digging literally in the dirt.
Yeah.
So they're having, they're arguing.
They're arguing.
They're not seeing eye to eye. Howard is frustrated with all these people coming into the tomb and disturbing and damaging it.
Lord C is all about the media because he's going to give an interview to the Times.
Yes. So then he goes on to say, we will be unlikely to finish cataloging and storing the artifacts before the season is over because of all these tourists coming.
Yeah.
And then Lord C says, I can hardly refuse a tour to the Queen of the Belgians or the Dowager Sultana. So these are very important people coming. And he says that's exactly the sort of thinking that has turned this excavation into a bloody circus. This is Howard. And then Lord C says, you seem to be forgetting that I'm paying for this circus. And they go back in time, back and forth. And like you said, with money you got from the Times for its damned exclusive coverage. How bloody stupid could you be, cutting out the Egyptian press for the biggest story ever to come out of their own country? This is Howard speaking. How could you not realize that you've handed a match to the nationalist, maybe even to Sablu himself, to light the flame of their new government, a government that will want to keep Tutankhamun for itself. So that is Howard's fear, right? The nationalists will not allow the English to continue excavations or share in this discovery. Evelyn agrees with Howard. She says the nationalists have seized upon Tutankhamun as a symbol of Egyptian prowess and independence. So this find is symbolic and significant on many levels, right? it is a reclaiming of Egyptian culture by the nationalists, even though the English were the ones that dug him up.
Yeah.
And so on page, go ahead.
I have page just 303 to add to our timeline, and Brograve Beauchamp asks Lady Eve to marry him. So she's gonna marry Beauchamp because he's very supportive of what she wants to do as an archaeologist, or to be around them. I guess
she will finally get her mom off her back.
Yes, exactly. To her too. Yes.
307.
Okay.
The fight over King Tut continues. So I will read to you from this page. Unfortunately, Lord C. Howard says, I have it on good authority that Sagul is predicted to win by a landslide. So there's elections. According to my sources, one of his first orders of business will be to end partage, come to the site and oversee my excavation and ensure that not a single artifact from Tutankhamun's tomb leaves Egypt. What? Papa's face turns an unhealthy crimson, and he sounds apoplectic. If Europeans and Americans hadn't come into Egypt and unearthed its artifacts, the objects would have just been neglected, slowly wasting away, except for the items stolen by grave robbers in the dead of the night. Well, the Egyptians care now. Tutankhamun has become the symbol of Egypt reborn, and that rallying cry is on every nationalist's lips. The pharaoh and all his treasure are a source of national pride, one that binds the disparate Egyptian people, and Sagul has seized upon Tutankhamun and claimed him for the nation. And so there you have both sides of the argument, right? But we paid for it. If we hadn't done it, they would have never found these items. They would have been looted. And so this is what you keep hearing throughout the book.
Look at it, says adopt me.
On page 310, Howard C. and Howard Carter and Lord C. admit they have been taking artifacts. My convictions, this is Evelyn speaking. She says, these things aren't ours to take. She's upset. She says, my convictions have clarified and sharpened against the backdrop of Howard's actions.
No.
Well, I may not like the way that the new Egyptian government's laws affect us, and I do sympathize with Papa's situation. I understand that the rights to excavate the tomb and remove its artifacts were never ours to take. They were the Egyptians to get, and they have reclaimed them. And Papa says, we are the ones who found the tomb after an enormous amount of money and effort. So he feels entitled to these objects. On page 311, in the past, the Egyptians have proven themselves uninterested or unskilled in proper excavation of ancient remains. Without us, Tutankhamun's tomb would never have been found. And then at the bottom of the page, Mr. Sagul himself once told me, Egypt's past belongs to its people, and they alone can tell its story. So again, the back and forth, right?
Because they know they can't take any of the artifacts. They're not going to make any money off of it. And so Howard comes up with a plan. And he brings Lord C into it and kind of explains, okay, I have a plan. It could work. Why don't we take them? Why don't we send them back in a diplomatic pouch? Because they can't go, the Egyptians can't go through that. So their idea is to hide them through these pouches and sneak them out of Egypt. And Evelyn's like, what? That's stealing.
It's stealing.
That is not okay. Yes. And so she's appalled at all this.
And then she wonders, right? How long has this been going on for? Is this how they've been operating this whole time without her knowledge?
I'm on page 320.
Our final. Well, for me, it's my final.
Okay.
I mean, we might be in the same spot.
Yeah. A Hatshepsut is told by a servant, Thutmose wants to see you now. So she's panicking because why else would somebody come in a hurry, in a sense of urgency, to come and get you? And so Thutmose tells her they have taken Neferferi, her daughter, and taken her,
Captive,
meaning kidnapped.
Yes.
And in order to get her back, Thutmose has to kill Hatshepsut. And this is coming from his family.
Yes.
Yeah. So do you have that? Do you have a poster for that?
Well, what I wanted to add to that is that Hatshepsut's plan for her daughter was, to prepare her for the role that she had as pharaoh. She talks about readying Nefertari to take her role, and it had occurred to her. And she had discussed this idea with Senenni. She said, I naively believed that perhaps Egypt was ready to regularly receive women in positions of power. It seems as though the stability and success that I delivered to Egypt, alongside the coffers full of gold, gems, turquoise, ebony, blah, 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 She says, is not enough. It seems the measure of my worth is my gender. I mean,
Yes.
We could be reading this now in 2026.
Yes.
No matter what a woman does as a ruler, it is not enough.
Yeah, it's not her kingship, it's her gender.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the problem.
And this is, this chapter is called Mystery, and it says, she says, you know what, I'll do it. I'll go into hiding. I'll go into hiding. And she says, I pull away from Sen and Much, wiping my eyes on the sleeve of my linen tunic. There is no need for formality any longer. Turning to Thutmose, I summon my power and deliver a final order with the regality of all my roles, past and present, as princess, God's wife, of a moon, queen, regent, and pharaoh. Thutmose, once the period of mourning has ended, you must obliterate my name from my obelisks and temples and palaces. You must erase me from history.
So this is the story that Marie Benedict decides to tell, right?
Yes.
That it was Hatshepsut's idea.
Yes.
To be erased.
Yeah, and but we know, I think, there was documentaries that I watched, and that it was Thutmose III, the actual, that he's the one that ordered for that to be erased because of, no woman should be seen as a pharaoh, right?
Because then that's going to encourage other females.
Exactly.
Wow.
And so, but I love the way she added that it was her idea in order to protect her daughter. This is all to protect her daughter.
And also to give her that agency, right? That power that she decided how she would be remembered or not remembered.
Yeah.
Historically.
She controlled it.
Yes.
She's still controlling her narrative. Yeah, exactly. And then I think this is just author's note, and I don't know why I highlighted that one, but there's a great, because it talks about her research here, and I don't remember what it was.
Oh, the one thing, right, while you think of what you want to say is that Lord C, Evelyn mentions her dad gets some kind of an infection after they excavated the tomb, and there's a curse associated with King Tut that many people that were in that tomb died or something happened to them. And Lord C did get an infection. I forget, somewhere on his nose, I don't know where.
Cheek.
Yes, like it was a pimple, and then it got really bad. Anyway, he died from that. So then that spread the myth or the legend of the curse of King Tut. How he was getting revenge on these people that disturbed his eternal peace. So he died 6 months after they had excavated the tomb.
And this is
but then Lord C said, nothing happened to me. He lived. He died of old age or whatever. So believe what you must.
Exactly. And just in the author's note, she talks about how excavating or writing this book really changed her, Marie Benedict. And she says, who else is in our chain, and what legacies are we perpetuating, both past and future? Put a slightly different way, using the analogy of Madame Saglou, are we all grains in one vast, underestimated desert in the verge of gathering up together into a mighty force of transformation? I hope so.
That's the metaphor that I loved, right? We're grains of sand.
Yeah, and just transforming.
Yes.
Right? Yes. So thank you, Marie Benedict, for this awesome read.
I loved it.
It was great. Yes. It was a great read. And so here we are. We're going to get ready to go and check out
the exhibit and see what we find.
I hope we see some mention of Hatshepsut.
That would be nice. It would be. We will be very excited if we do see something.
Because we know what that means.
But anyway, dear friends, stay tuned for our next read. Please follow us and give us a thumbs up, and continue to stick around, because books take us on adventures.
Yeah, and suggest any books that you want us to read. We will.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Bye bye. Oh, our posters. They're right here.
This
is our disc.
I wasn't very consistent with my. This is you, right?
You want to put them there?
Oh, I can. Our blank disc.
Yeah. Because it's hard to remember it all. Until next time, dear reader. Signing off, 2 Gals in a Book podcast.